asked you on page 722 to complete problem 1144. That's what we're going to do right now, okay? Here we go. So if you're at home, like if you didn't come to the live lesson, okay. So page 722, number 1144. And the first question asked you, it said, so they gave you the null hypothesis, they gave you an alternative hypothesis. They said the service coaches 100 students. Their SAT math scores average was X bar equals 522. And it says, by hand or using p-value of a significance test applet of the following statistician. So is this a Z or a, this is a Z test, right? You know it's a, how do you know it's a Z test? They gave you sigma. Okay, so you guys, you can't find the p-value without the test statistic. Okay, what was my X bar? Okay, what was my mu? Okay, there, right there, you guys, is your test statistic going to be positive or negative?
Positive.
Because your X bar is greater, it's going to be positive. And what was my sigma? What did they give me as my sigma? 100. And the square root of the sample size is a... Sigma will always be positive. Well, most of the time. I mean, unless you're dealing with something negative. Yeah. Okay, second quit. Let's go to stat, over to test. We're going to a Z test. And the reason we know it's a Z test is because they gave us sigma. Okay, this is, what was mu? 518? Sigma was 100. X bar was 522. N was 100. Now, what did they say our alternative hypothesis was? Less than, right? Oh no, it was greater than. So we're going to pick the last one. So our alternative hypothesis said greater than. We're going to hit enter. And I want to calculate or not draw it. So I'm going to calculate it. And then my test statistic is 0.4. And my p-value is what? 0.3446. That is a very high p-score. So let's just talk about it before they ask us our question. You guys at the 10% level, is it significant? No, it's not. At the 5% level, is it significant? At the 1% level, is it significant? No, it's greater than all of those levels. You guys, this, when I tell you that this is a high p-value, I'm not kidding. Now, if it was, I should say that it's a high p-value for a one-tailed test because it's only on one tail. For a two-tailed test, it's not that high. Usually, most two-tailed tests are not, they're not significant because the p-value shows up in both tails. So let me just show you again what I'm talking about. If you ever want to see, you can go ahead and draw. And this is what I mean by a one-tailed test. Everything that's in blue is your p-value. So it's that you're not going to reject your null hypothesis because that's what you're expecting to see. Okay? Okay, that's all that A wanted you to do, correct? And B, we're almost out of time, I know. We're going to do the same thing this time, right? But what changed this time, you guys?
Sample size.
Our sample size changed. Oh my goodness. Everything else stayed the same. Okay, so we're going to go back to our calculator. We're going to stat over to test, Z test. And this time the only thing that's changing is that 1,000. So what do you think is going to happen now? What do you think is going to happen? What's going to be smaller? Okay, let's calculate it. And you are correct. This time our Z score or our test statistic is 1.2691 and our p-value is 0.1030, right? Now, what do you think happens? So this is exactly the same. So what happens with the sample size? What did you notice? Our p-value is what? You guys said it. It's less. So now, you guys, it's still not significant, but it's very close to the 10%, yes.
I think it's 1.2649 for the Z.
Yep, you would be right. Yep, that would be right. I just decided to skip some numbers. But I am right on the p-value, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys, again, it's greater than the 10% level. It's greater than the 5%. It's greater than the 1%. It's still pretty high. So you don't have, it's not significant still. So an advertising campaign brings the number of students coached to 10,000. What's going to happen to the p-value now? It's going to be even smaller. So every time you're increasing that sample size, it affects your p-value. Okay? So tomorrow we are going to, tomorrow you're going to work on a worksheet.